All right, welcome to this explainer on the adapter pattern. I want you to just imagine that we're standing together in front of a big, blank whiteboard right now. Grab a virtual marker, take a deep breath, and let's really take our time with this. Today, we're going to unpack one of the absolute most foundational concepts in software design. But, and here's the best part, we're doing it completely conceptually. No complicated jargon, no confusing syntax on the screen, literally just pure logic. My whole goal today is to help you build this crystal clear mental model of what the adapter pattern actually is. So by the time we wrap up, you'll know exactly how to spot it, and more importantly, when to use it in your own problem solving.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll hit Chapter 1, the real-world analogy. Then, Chapter 2, how the concept works. And finally, Chapter 3, the takeaway. Easy enough, right?
Okay, let's dive into this. Chapter 1, the real-world analogy.
Now, before we even think about software or systems, we really need to look at the physical world. Because honestly, the smartest software patterns, they're usually just digital reflections of how we solve everyday physical problems. So imagine you're holding one of those tiny little memory cards from a digital camera. You know the ones, right? Small, super flat, kind of fragile. Now let's say that memory card is packed full of incredibly important pictures, and you absolutely need to get those pictures onto your computer. You look at the side of your laptop and, well, what do you see? You see a standard wide USB port. So we've got a very distinct physical problem here. Side A, your little memory card, simply is not going to fit into Side B, the computer port. They have completely 100% incompatible shapes. And it really doesn't matter how much the computer wants those pictures or how perfectly the memory card is holding onto them. They literally cannot talk to each other directly because their physical interfaces just do not match.
So how do we actually solve this on a physical level? Well, we obviously don't magically reshape the computer port, and we definitely don't break the memory card trying to jam it in there. Instead, we introduce a middleman. We use a card reader. This card reader, it's a physical adapter. It has a slot that perfectly accepts that tiny little memory card, and then on its other end, it has a standard USB plug that perfectly slides right into your computer's port. It acts as this essential bridge. By just popping the memory card into the reader, you've adapted it. You've made an incompatible shape completely compatible with the system you're trying to connect it to. And the best part? You did all of that without altering the original memory card or the computer itself.
And this brilliantly simple logic illustrates a pattern that is literally all around us. Think about traveling internationally. You pack a hairdryer with a three-legged plug, but your hotel room, it only has a two-pronged outlet. Well, you don't rewire the hotel wall, you just plug your dryer into a little power adapter and then plug that adapter right into the wall. Simple. Or imagine two people trying to negotiate a big deal, but they speak completely different languages. They need a human translator, a middleman, to basically sit right between them, listening to one language and speaking the other, bridging that communication gap. See? You already inherently understand this concept.
All right, moving right along to Chapter 2, how the concept works.
Now, let's slowly transition over to the software side of our whiteboard here. I want you to keep that mental image of the memory card sliding into the card reader right at the front of your mind, because I promise you we are just carrying over that exact same logic. Okay, so in plain software terms, the adapter pattern lets you wrap an otherwise incompatible object in an adapter to make it compatible with another class. Now let me just pause right there because, yeah, wrapping an object in an adapter sounds a bit like heavy technical jargon. What does that actually mean in the real world? Well, think back to our physical analogy. When you push that tiny memory card inside the plastic casing of the card reader, you are quite literally wrapping it. You're enclosing this incompatible thing inside a shell that has the correct compatible exterior. In software, we do the exact same thing. We take a piece of logic that just doesn't fit, and we wrap it inside a new piece of logic, the adapter, that does fit.
Let's bring this to life and see how this builds into a fun conceptual game scenario. Imagine we're building a video game together. On side A of our whiteboard, we've got our main character, a hunter. Now, this hunter has been programmed with one very specific, very rigid set of rules. He only knows how to track and interact with lions. In software terms, we'd say he expects a lion interface. That just means he expects his targets to behave in a very specific, lion-like way. But suddenly, the game designers throw us a massive curveball. Over on side B, they introduce a wild dog. And they want our hunter to interact with this wild dog too. But here is the problem. A wild dog is fundamentally different. It behaves differently, it moves differently. It literally has a completely different interface. If we try to just, hand the wild dog over to the hunter's logic is going to completely crash. It's the memory card and the laptop port all over again. They just don't fit together.
So, how on earth do we solve our hunter's dilemma without completely rewriting our entire game from scratch? Well, we use our trusty adapter logic step by step. Step 1. We recognize the mismatch. The wild dog's interface just does not fit the hunter's expectations. Simple as that.
Step 2, we create a middleman. We're going to build a wild dog adapter. Now think of this adapter as a clever disguise, or, you guessed it, our card reader. On the outside, this adapter perfectly mimics a lion, which is exactly what our hunter is looking for. And finally, step 3, we wrap the wild dog inside that adapter. So now, when the hunter tries to interact with what he fully thinks is a lion, he's actually talking to our adapter, and the adapter simply translates those actions down to the wild dog hidden inside. The hunter's totally happy because he thinks he's dealing with a lion, and the wild dog is happy because it's being interacted with appropriately. It is just such an elegant conceptual bridge.
Now what's really interesting about this next part is Chapter 3, the takeaway.
All right, we've drawn out the analogy, and we've walked through the software scenario, but, knowledge really isn't useful unless you actually know how to apply it. So I want to pause the lesson right here, look directly at you, and ask, when should a developer actually pull this specific tool out of their toolkit? Because listen, just knowing a pattern exists absolutely does not mean you should go using it everywhere. I mean, you wouldn't use a card reader if your computer already had a memory card slot built right in, right? So when do we actually use it?
Well, the absolute crucial point is captured beautifully in this quote from Wikipedia. It says, "The adapter pattern allows the interface of an existing class to be used as another interface. It is often used to make existing classes work with others without modifying their source code." Now that last part, that is the golden rule right there, without modifying their source code. Imagine you're working with a super complicated older piece of software, maybe some legacy system your company's relied on for like 10 years. You can't just tear it open and start rewriting its blueprints to make it fit with some brand new tool. That is way too risky. You might break the whole shebang. Instead, you build an adapter. You leave the original source code completely, safely untouched, and you just build a bridge to make the connection. It is the ultimate tool for safe, non-destructive problem solving.
Which brings us to our final thought to leave up on the whiteboard today. As you approach your next project and you inevitably find two things that just don't quite fit, I really want you to ask yourself this. Are you bridging necessary gaps between rigid, unchangeable systems, or are you just over-engineering simple connections that could be solved by just writing better, cleaner code in the first place? Remember, an adapter is a fantastic, incredibly useful tool when you absolutely cannot change the plug or the outlet. But if you have the power to just design them to match from the very beginning, that is always, always the better choice. Keep that rule of thumb in your back pocket, and you're going to use the adapter pattern like an absolute pro. Thank you so much for joining me at the whiteboard today for this explainer. Keep learning, keep building, and I will catch you on the next one.